Hello and welcome to this reading of the new Capenna story, the side story, What You Expect to See. Let's start right away. This story is by Caitlin Zivanovic, and the art that you see right here of this beautiful sort of park is by Grady Frederick. The sun glittered off the glass and steel buildings of New Capenna, and a pair of green and red birds chased each other through the air. Camille paused in the shadows while her apprentice stepped into the sun and gaped. "Look, Camille," Queza pointed. "They're beautiful." Camille sighed. "Erythacus rubecula. They're robins. They're artists. Even you can appreciate beauty, can't you?" "I appreciate facts, kid." The robins sang as Camille and Queza entered Tivid's fortune teller's shop, locking the door behind them. Floating crystal balls lit the room, illuminating the obscura sigil, hand, keyhole, and dagger. Camille appreciated the display of loyalty. "Ah, Camille," Rafine's right hand cephalid. Tivid patted on heavy paws and folded their bright white rings. "And Queza, the right hand's right hand. How's business, Tivid?" "Busy. Passing through the back?" Camille nodded. "Keep the door locked." She pushed aside the hanging tapestries covering the entrance to the vent shaft underground. The tunnels let Camille pass through New Capenna covertly, how she preferred it. One of the perks of being Rafine's spy master, minimal interaction with people. Let Queza be personable. Camille had no time for it. "Can't we stay for tea, Camille? I'd love to have my leaves read." "No." "Tivid, look into the future. Any chance Camille ever smiles?" "Outlook, not so good. Sorry." Camille tapped her foot. "Queza?" "She's mad now," said Queza through stage whispers. The marks around her eyes pulse blue-green when she's mad. "I'm coming." "I see glowering and silent disapproval in your future, Queza," Tivid called. I see. Art by Chris Rahn, of this big man. Tivid threw their head back and screamed. The floating crystals shattered mid-air as blue smoke twisted through the room like a hurricane. Camille smelled metal in the air, a storm building in the corners. Darkness suffocated all light, including Camille and Queza's bioluminescent markings. Silence descended, heavy and taut. Tivid's open wings crackled with electricity. Light blazed from their eyes and mouth, knocking the two cephalids back. A chorus roared from Tivid's throat. Camille cast a spherical lens into the room to record. She'd spent too much time with Rafine not to recognize the prophecy. The kitten hiding the cream. Corfidae, fitting and packing, gold in the water, hiding the cream, the kitten. The room shook. Camille held her ground. Halos formed in the swirling light. She tried to look for Queza, but the cyclone of power forced her eyes shut. The sound rose to a crescendo, then stopped. Shattered glass and shredding books fell. Sunlight streamed through Tivid's modest windows, and the Sphinx seer collapsed. "Queza," Camille blinked her watering eyes. Her apprentice lay sprawled beneath a bookcase, cradling her head. Camille cast a viewing spell as she rushed over. Bruises and scrapes lit up across Queza's body, non-serious. "I'm fine, Camille. That was..." Camille called the spherical lens back to her hand. "I'm sending the recording to Rafine now." Queza rubbed her head, filling a water carafe for Tivid, and pushed them to rehydrate. "Camille, I've read every account of Rafine's visions from the founding. This was exactly like them. This is big, different." Camille kept her face blank. There was an explanation. There was nothing she did not know, only things she did not know yet. The reporting amulet against her throat vibrated, another seer reporting a vision. The amulet shook again. It buzzed and rattled against her skin, heating with the friction, as though the stone inside would crack. Camille fumbled the amulet in her palm and pressed it to display the reports. Magic windows flashed blue before her, revealing fortune tellers, soothsayers, and augurs from Park Heights, from the Metro, the Caldaya, all reporting the same thing. Halos, halos, kitten hiding the cream, the kitten hiding the cream, gold, in the water, gold, Carvida. Halos, halos, halos everywhere. The same vision? Queza whispered. She gripped a milky white talisman with a halo inside, a token from the superstitious angel faithful. Put that away, Camille muttered. Queza stared at the reports. What does it mean? Camille's wrist summons charm tightened. Camille's... Oh, sorry. We'll know soon enough. Camille straightened her cuffs and walked to the back tapestries. Rafine was calling her to the cloud spire. The elevator lifted from the city depths. Oh, art by Chris Wallace again. Through girder streets, past dazzling buildings and into the clouds. Camille sent Queza to the Interfactorium's map room to begin analysis. Queza was a daydreamer, but also the best exactor in the Obscura. Once or twice, she'd caught details Camille had missed. No small feat. The elevator doors opened like beetle wings. Whispers swirled through Rafine's sanctum, New Capenna's secrets and schemes. The glass walls let the powerful Sphinx demon overlook her city. The stained glass above depicted her rise to power, how she joined with the archdemons as the angels fell, and how they enhanced her visionary capabilities. Ghostly images of reports, crimes, and movements floated through the room. The Sphinx demon paced, scattering the whispers and reports into mist. Every time, Rafine's presence was a kick in the gills. She was older than memory, powerful and mysterious. With her infernal visions, Rafine knew everything. Camille dropped to her knee. Like a storm, Rafine unfurled her wings, banishing the swirling reports and images to the corners. Her voice filled the room like thunder. Report. Camille made a point never to tell Rafine something unless she was sure. You've seen Tivid's vision. Other seers in New Capenna saw it at the same time. We're mapping them to pinpoint the pattern. The common elements include: do not rehearse the contents of a vision to a seer. Kittens splashing in milk, gold in the water, halos, halos. I have seen it. I am not interested in the details of your craft. I want to know who sent this vision. Camille clenched her jaw to keep from flinching. Did she say sent? Rafine's visions came from the archdemons. Who else could have sent a vision of this magnitude? Someone attacked the visionaries of New Capenna. Unacceptable. The implications hit Camille in her stomachs. She warded the cloud spire herself. If a spellcaster managed to reach every seer, including Rafine, it meant her wards had failed. Someone got to Rafine and it was her fault. Camille stood. I will find your answer. Quickly. Rafine retreated into her whispers and shadows. Do this personally, Camille. Feet on the pavement. My trust is in you, alone, for now. Camille swallowed the lump in her throat. Understood. Art by Johannes Vos. It's cool that we see the visions here. And like the city in the back still, and like the gold of the city that is truly exemplary. The Interfactorium walls shone brighter than a cabaret party. Queza gathered information orbs in her palms and flicked them to the map. Two side surges gathered data in one corner, and she traced lines of light between disconnected areas. If Queza thought they were connected, it was worth investigating. Each dot is a seer who experienced one of those visions. Queza pointed to the map. Everyone on our payroll, and a good number who don't know they are. Same vision, same time, no exceptions. Add a dot to the cloud spire. Camille grimaced and kept her coat on. She'd be going to the city to investigate soon. Feet on the pavement. Rafine gave her the report. Same vision, same time. Queza snapped the report into place. I'm researching the vision's images. Kitten hiding cream, gold in the water, corvidae. Which I thought referred to crows. Could be any number of birds. Crows, magpies, jackdaws, ravens. Got that, Serge, Camille said. We're investigating who sent the vision, not the vision contents. Sent? We're treating this like an attack. Someone cast a spell or poisoned the proverbial visionary waters. Queza pursed her lips and rubbed her talisman. Camille, I'm telling you, this is exactly like Rafine's visions at the founding. The big ones. It's not... Why do you have that? Queza looked at her talisman. You don't believe in the angels? What is there to believe or disbelieve? Angels are a historical fact. They existed. They helped build New Capenna. They left. Queza shrugged. Some have faith they will return. Don't you suspect there's more to things than we can see? Some higher power. We are the Obscura spy masters, Queza. We question everything and believe nothing without proof. Give that to me. Queza handed over the talisman. Rafine says it's an attack. I know you studied New Capenna's founding, but Rafine was there. The people who didn't listen to her are dead. This is the direction we're going. The markings along Queza's neck pulsed a deep violet. She nodded and turned to the map. Understood. Camille pushed on. Did anything significant occur right before the vision hit? She called the Avon surveillance reports from the stack in the corner and limited the search to the hour prior. There, an explosion in the Maggio. Queza zoomed into the map. An abandoned warehouse. She spread an arc of reporting over her head, chose one and cast the others to the side. One person's been in the area this week. Then Hans' picture revealed a Leonin woman. Orange tabby fur with pale yellow eyes. She wore a trench coat, a smart fedora, and a suspicious expression, like she was sniffing for a story. Lacey Lanine, reporter. She works for Denry Klin at the Capenna Herald. Sounds like the kitten hiding the cream, boss, Queza said. Lacey and Dendry have a secret scoop about something. Or they created their own scoop, to beat out the other papers. Camille's new reporters. She used to be one, before she found a job where she didn't have to talk to people. Reporters would do anything to sell papers. Plausible theory, but the theory is not good without evidence, I know. Good girl. Look into the abandoned warehouse. Queza minimized the maps and sanitized the room of secrets. Call Oscar? Good choice. Camille liked Oscar. His trash can, treasure hunts and sewer salvages revealed a lot about people. Plus, he hung out with rats to avoid people. They were kindred souls. She cast her calling spell and brought Oscar into view, then pulled his image into the room. He blinked at the bare walls. How do you do this, boss? It feels like I'm here. It looks like you are too. Queza passed her hand through Oscar's shoulder. Basic illusion. I suggest a few details. Your mind fills in the rest. People see what they expect to see. Queza and Oscar passed hands through each other again and grinned. New hat, Queza? It is. I'm trying a new style before the crescendo. Are you going? To the crescendo? Me? He shuffled. Hey, I found 2 more stained glass halos for you. I'll send the locations. Great. Camille cleared her throat. What's up, boss? Oscar wiped his nose on the back of his hand. Abandoned building exploded this morning. What do you know? She pulled up the map. That building ain't abandoned, boss. Based on the trash, people have been inside for a week. And it didn't explode, it imploded. She glanced at Queza, feet on the pavement. Camille replaced her hat. I'm sending an echo reader team to view the implosion site. Queza and I will head there soon. She closed the illusion, then handed Queza her coat. Why is Oscar finding halo signs for you? Here's an art by Jos Haas, and also I think because of the angels. Queza winced. I'm an ex-actor. Camille, you pay me to notice things. Camille tilted her head. Go on. Halo imagery's been popping up in the architecture, without evidence of construction. I'm waiting to see if a pattern emerges. Oscar's my lookout. Camille grunted. That is indeed what she paid Queza to do. Very well. Question everything. Follow your hunches. And verify with evidence. I know, Camille. Good. Let's go find a reporter. Denry Klin tried not to jump when the 2 Obscura agents appeared in his office. Yeah, I'll talk. I got nothing to hide. Denry ran his claws through a well-manicured mane. Lacey Lanine? No, she didn't have work down there. Lacey does fluff pieces for the society pages. Nothing important. The tips of Camise's tentacles prickled. If this was how Denry talked about Lacey, the reporter would be looking to prove herself with some big scoop. Motive to attack the seers? I'll show ya. Here's the latest article. A preview of the Crescendo menu and entertainments. A line or two from Ginny, Mira and Kit Canto. See? Harmless. Anyway, she'd been in today. Probably out with her lady friend all night. Lady friend? Quezza asked. One of those straight-laced brokers, Lagrita or something. Lagrella? Yeah, Lagrella. Camise and Quezza rolled their eyes together. Lagrella the Magpie was a broker lieutenant. If she was hanging around Lacey Lanine, it was because she was manipulating her. A subtle push to control the Capenna Herald, most likely. Contact us when you see Lacey, Camise said. If you don't, we'll know. Denry swallowed hard. Camise and Quezza left the building. The echo reader stood in the warehouse rubble with her eyes closed, reading the spectral after images. Camise squinted through the dust hanging in the air. There's a 4-person team working in darkness. The readers intoned in unison. Their faces are shadowed. Shadowed? Quezza asked. They're under a spell, Camise explained. They cast dozens of spells, aimed at a bottle in the warehouse center. The reader continued. Every spell fizzled until this morning something stuck, and it devoured the room. The echo readers raised their heads, eyes still closed. Everything, building imploded, and then the readers shielded their spectral eyes. Shadow burst from the explosion. Camise put her hands in their pocket. Do you see Lacey Lanine? The echo readers pointed to a northern side street. There, on the first night, she entered the warehouse from that direction, handed them a bottle of Halo and left. From the Vento Leone, Quezza whispered, where she was writing an article about the Crescendo. Not out with the lady friend, eh? Camise nodded. Red herring. Denry underestimated her. She's ambitious, tried to make her own story, stole Halo from the cabaret and arranged for her experimentations. Now she'll publish her exposé about how all the seers in New Capenna were compromised. Easy fix, Quezza said. Give her name to a ruiner. By morning no paper will touch anything written by Lacey Lanine. Camise frowned. This would answer Rafine's question. She had the who, but not enough of the how and why. Halo did enhance spells, but enough to cover the entire city? Even to the Cloud Spire? Something wasn't adding up. She tapped into the Obscura network and summoned a mentalist. Find Lacey Lanine. I need to pick her brain. Her reporting talisman shook. Oscar's face appeared. He pulled back to show the figure swaying beside him. Lacey. Someone beat you to it, boss. Found her sitting in a dumpster in a stupor. Mind wiped. The mentalist dusted off her palms. I can't get anything. Her mind is blank. Whoever did this was thorough. Camise grunted. Take her to the infirmary. You got it, boss. She guided Lacey into a car. Quezza and Oscar sifted through the trash Lacey left behind. Red scurried from the dumpster, bringing offerings. The alley was familiar. They were just down the street from Tivit's shop. Camise and Quezza might have passed by just this morning. Did it mean anything that Lacey was so close to Tivit? Unlikely. Meant more that she was so far away from the blast site. These are connected to Lacey. Oscar handed Camise a notepad, a business card and a tight scroll. All three were blank. This art is by Leonardo Santana. Even her notes are scrubbed, Quezza said. Camise sighed. Lacey might be a victim of her own plot. The Halo-infused spell put images into Seer's minds and wiped her memory. She survived the implosion, but the magic hit her brain at a point-blank range. Good theory. It fit the evidence. Did the echo readers mention Lacey being nearby for the implosion? Camise's head snapped up. Glass shattered nearby. Metal crashed against wood. Tivit's shop. Camise shoved the blank scraps into her pocket and sprinted. Quezza caught up in a few steps. Her coat's dagger-shaped fringe tinkled as she moved. They pushed through screaming, panicked pedestrians to see flame burst from Tivet's shop. The balcony above the shop entrance buckled on one side, a breath away from crashing to the ground. The storefront stained window on the sidewalk. A crowd of looky-loos bunched up to watch the destruction. Slowing Camise and Quezas rushed to the front. Tivet shook in their entryway, terrified and stunned. The balcony overhead creaked and showered sparks. Tivet, Queza leaped forward as the balcony broke from the wall. They would both be crushed. Camise projected her magic forward, gripping Tivet's thick fur and Queza's long coat, ripping them out from under the balcony. It crashed to the pavement. The fire spread, attracting more voyeurs. Camise strained to see where she'd thrown the two. Tivet lifted their head, but Queza's coat lay flat and empty. She grabbed the coat and missed Queza. Camise stared at the flaming balcony. No movement. The crowd clogged the street, blocking her attempts to get closer. Light flashes signaled the arrival of the brokers, ready to offer protection for a price. Camise's marking flared blue-green. Queza. Magic gathered in a blue storm around her hands. "Oscar!" she shouted, but he was already in motion, relaying orders to his rats. The rodents surged, feeding on his fear and fury. Camise's spell lifted them, enhanced them, splashed them down upon the crowd. Illusion. The crowd saw giant flying rats and their mind filled in the rest. Everyone scattered, including the broker's contract mages. Tivet, shaking off the shock, called water down to extinguish the flames. Camise rushed to the fallen balcony and filled the charred wood to find her apprentice. Oscar sifted through the ash, cutting his fingers on broken glass. No, 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 he muttered. Nothing, no, Queza. Camise's 3 hearts stopped inside her chest. She'd failed Verfine, and now her apprentice, her right hand, her... Oof, ouch. Camise held her breath. A thin hand emerged from the gap between 2 buildings, a hand with bioluminescent markings. Almost good, I think that word. Queza! Oscar jumped to his feet, inch by inch. Queza poured herself out from the small gap. She shook herself and let her body pop back into shape. No bones? Queza cracked a smile. Cephalids excel at getting in and out of tight spots. Oh. Camise pulled the young woman into a tight hug. A moment passed. Queza returned it. Thought you were dead, kid, Camise murmured. Not dead, boss. Just squished. Camise cleared her throat and let go. She straightened Queza's collar and looked her over. She was fine. Smart kid. Kept the wits about her. She never should have worried. Oscar shuffled foot to foot, unaccustomed to talking with non-rodents. Queza tucked a wavy tentacle into place. Alright, Oscar? Your finger webs are singed. That would be cool to be signed, he said. Yours are bleeding, she answered. He shrugged. Glass. Yeah. Camise rolled her eyes. Across the street, the exhausted Tivet called with a man in a well-tailored, armored pinstripe suit. He waved the scroll in Tivet's face. A contract. Broker. Camise spread her webbed fingers and viewed the man through a window of magic. Contract magic circled the scroll like chains. Camise plucked mirrored glass from the debris and projected it between the agent and Tivet. The binding magic reflected to the agent and fizzled. He scowled at Camise and scurried away. Queza gasped. Quick thinking, boss. Mirrors expose the loopholes in contract magic. Then you can exploit them. The agent knew he was beat. Always keep a mirror handy, Tivet. Never sign a contract with a broker. They're vultures. They see minor property damage and rope you into a protection racket. Tivet ruffled their feathers, indignant. I was confused for a moment. Who did this? Riveteers, Tivet said. After the vision this morning, I took a sleeping potion to calm my nerves. When I woke up, the new stained glass was above my door. They said it was scab work and smashed it. Ah, my shop. Queza rushed to Tivet's side. The stained glass appeared. What did it look like? Tivet waved their paw, bringing up a picture. Queza gasped. The stained glass was a halo. Keza, Camise started. Keza sent a report request to all agents. Pictures of the buildings where the visions occurred this morning. Their talismans shook. Images floating around them like bubbles. One halo, another, halos, halos, halos everywhere, Keza whispered. It's a vision, Camise. We're not looking into... Her excitement grew. Rafine was right, she said. Someone did send the visions. Not Lacey, Lanine or Denry Klin. It's a message from the angels. Camise waited for the punchline. It wasn't coming. Enough, Keza. But enough. Oscar and Tivit froze. Keza set her jaw. Have I taught you nothing? Her eyes narrowed. You didn't take a moment to ask how or when these halos were crafted. Or consider interviewing the glaciers in the Caldea. Your first thought is folktales? Your angel obsessions make you sloppy. What about you? Keza blurted. You don't even follow your own rules. What? Have you questioned everyone, Camise? Your objectivity falls away at certain altitudes. I've been collecting evidence. Are you examining your assumptions? Are you questioning Rafine? No sound but their pounding hearts. Camise straightened her coat. You're off the case. Keza exhaled like she'd been punched. What? Give me your sigils and talismans. You're not ready for this. Report back to the Kellogg Library for extractor duties. Keza glared. Her markings flashed purple and violet. Fine. She pulled the talisman from her neck, chucked the sigil bracelets from the wrists, and slammed them into Camise's open palm. Camise returned away to let her know she was forgotten. Tivit, we'll send a crew to clean up. Oscar, good work today. Sure, boss, Oscar muttered. Camise pretended not to see Keza in her peripheral vision. Fists balled and jaw clenched. She had been wrong about the girl, as she'd been wrong about the Cloud Spire's wards. Keza was not her problem anymore. Time to report to Rafine. Camise lifted her forehead from the elevator's glass and sighed. Blackbirds flew past in tight V. She spoke into her bracelet before the elevator doors opened. Check it out and report back to me. Understood. The Avon surveillance chief responded. She closed the link and took a cleansing breath. The doors opened. Rafine paced as before. For a moment she looked smaller, diminished. As she knelt, Camise inspected the sanctum's magnificent architecture. The walls, the carvings, the stained glass. Art by Sam White. Stand and report. I, found a vision catalyst. Spellcasters using Halo. It killed them and destroyed the building. Wiped the reporter's mind, she almost said, but she made a point never to tell Rafine something unless she was sure. She fingered the notepad and scroll in her pocket. The Halo was stolen from the Cabaretti. The spellcasters? That evaporated. The only witness was a reporter, Lacey Lanine, whose mind was white. Camise waited for Rafine to call out her passive voice, but the Sphinx demon ignored it. She seemed more relieved that there was any explanation. Camise knelt again, arms spread. I made a mistake, boss. I warded the Cloud Spire, but the spell got through somehow. The report chimed in the room by her ear. Camise, I looped the spire 3 times and compared it to prior photograms. Everything is the same. Looking into your second question now. Camise sat back on her heels. Rafine stopped pacing. What? I came here to tell you I made a mistake, boss, and I did. Rafine shook her wings. You're forgiven. Re-establish the wards, check them again. That will be all. That wasn't my mistake. The clues came into focus. My mistake was assuming every seer saw the same vision. They didn't. Everyone saw a kitten hiding a bowl of scream. You said it was kittens splashing in milk. Rafine halted her pacing. Hiding, splashing, they are the same. You didn't see the same vision, Camise stood, because you didn't see any vision at all. Rafine drew up like a storm. You dare! No halos, boss. Camise pointed to the stained glass around the room. Not a single halo here in the Cloud Spire. Halos everywhere, but none here. That's why you're scared. For the first time someone sent a vision, and they didn't send it to you. Rafine's wings drooped. Boss? The second report came to her ear. You were right. She was in the dumpster all night, nowhere near the implosion. Camille looked Rafine in the eyes. We gotta deal with the vision. Something big is coming, and we need to protect the family. I can't do that if you hide the truth from me. She turned to the elevator. Where are you going? Rafine demanded. To get justice for an innocent reporter. Lacey Lanine wasn't at the building when it imploded. The spell didn't wipe her memory. Where was she? Camille pulled the scroll from her pocket. Out with her lady friend. Morgino Fountain was a calm oasis in the heart of the chaotic city. Legrella stood between orderly rows of palm-leafed bushes, admiring the winged architecture. She tapped a toe in the blue-white mist spilling from the fountain. Camille stepped from the shadows, alone but ready. Congratulations, Spy Master, she said. You found me. The mist rolled her underfoot. Legrella the magpie, Corvidae, fitting and packing. Are brokers always this sloppy? Pardon? Legrella said. A window gets scratched, and there's a broker signing people up for protection. An entire building implodes in the heart of the Meggio and not a single broker comes sniffing? You might as well have signed your name. Once I found your girlfriend, it was basically a confession. You mean Lacey? Legrella twisted the heavy rings on her fingers. Not my girlfriend. If I could have robbed the cabaret myself, I would have. But the cabaret don't let anyone into the kitchen. Except harmless reporters for the society pages. Camille felt the puzzle pieces fit into place. The kitten hiding the cream wasn't Lacey or Denry Klin, it was the cabaret. Legrella's magic pulled around Camille's ankles. Hiding in the mist, she stood still. Alas, Legrella continued, I only love two things, my fish tank and the prophecy. What weird people here. Camille knew she decorated the tank with contract breakers dipped in gold and silver. Gold in the water. Prophecy? The magpie's magic danced along Camille's wrists, stinging her tentacles. She kept her face blank. Legrella pulled a scroll and fountain pen from her coat. The prophecy is locked in a vault below Nido's sanctuary. A demon foretold New Capenna's destruction. When the city's halo supply is gone, we die. I don't mind telling you, soon you won't remember. Art by Donato Giancola. You believe this? Rafine's right hand questions the demon's prophecy. I discovered something recently. The Cabaretti figured out how to make halo. Imagine, I sent Lacey to get me a sample. You know the rest. Magic tightened around Camille's wrists. They didn't agree to die for you. You'd be surprised what people agree to when they're desperate. Legrella's smile dropped. For example, you're going to tell me the vision that's shaken the Obscura. It came the moment the building collapsed. I know you know what they saw, Camille. Tell me. Legrella didn't know the vision's contents. The images were real, not manufactured. Camille blinked. A flash of light caught her eye. Light from a mirror. Legrella didn't see what Camille saw. But of course not. People see what they expect to see. Why care that the cabaret can make halo? Legrella gaped. How do you not understand? There's an angel somewhere in New Capenna. Only angels can create halo. I'm trying to save the city. I opened the door, and before those worthless wizards failed, a message got through. You will tell me what your fortune teller saw. Sign here. Camille gasped. Legrella's magic jerked her hands forward. A pen materialized in her fingers, poised above Legrella's contract. Ink threatened to spill from the tip. The ties of magic pushed her hand toward the paper. You're forcing me to sign a contract? I thought brokers were bound by justice and ethics. I'll do anything to save New Capenna. No. Yes, I'll add you to my collection. Camise, silver, I think. Sign. Sweat dripped under her collar. Legrella boosted the spell, forcing her hand to the paper. Camille pulled her hand back, grunting, fighting not to sign away her mind. She fought against it, pulled back. Her hand fell through the paper. You get all that? Queza? A cheery voice piped behind her. I did, boss. Doomsday prophecy, fresh halo, angels. All recorded and sent to the cloud spire. Legrella whirled about, searching for the hidden cephalid. Camise is bound. She signed my contract. This contract? Camise lifted the scroll and pen. They dissolved into mist. Legrella fell back a step. What? This isn't real, broker. Not the paper or the pen. This isn't even the Mergino fountain. Look, the bushes are identical. It's not my best work. You saw what you wanted to see. Just like a magpie, distracted by shiny objects. My magic circles your neck, cephalid. It looks that way, doesn't it? Keza stepped into the illusion. My boss showed me a trick earlier. If you can see the loophole, you can exploit it. She lifted the mirror she'd brought. Magically forcing someone to sign a contract leaves some big loopholes. The magic ensnaring Camise fell away. An optical illusion. Legrella looked from her hands to Camise. Shift your perspective, Camise said. You're the one in the trap. Camise's illusion fell at once. The fountain, plants and architecture disappeared. They stood in a bare, windowless room. Keza stood before Legrella, using her mirror to reflect the magic back at her, snaring her like a spiderweb. She cried out at her hand, holding the fountain pen, poised above her own deadly contract. Wipe your own mind with your signature or nullify Lacey's contract. She pulled the scroll from her pocket. Your choice. Nullify a contract? Never. Camise pushed Legrella's hand toward the paper. It's amazing what people will agree to when they're desperate. Legrella bared her teeth, hissed, and kicked against her magical constraints. A furious scream ripped through her throat. Then she slumped in defeat. Fine, she seethed. These letters are going wrong. Camise replaced the scroll with Lacey's contract, and Legrella's signature cracked the paper in two. Nice doing business. Camise feigned a salute and signaled Keza to the door. Camise, you can't leave me here. Legrella called out. I can't move. Be glad you aren't dipped in gold, Magpie. It's your magic. Untangle it yourself. Keza closed the door behind them. Lacey's waking up. Camise touched the rune in her ear. Memory restored. Why did you help Lacey? Camise shrugged. Got a soft spot for hapless reporters. Used to be one. She paused. I wasn't expecting you to back me up. Keza rubbed her arm. Oscar realized Lacey's scroll was a broker contract. I connected the dots, followed you here. Camise cleared her throat. You were right. Keza held her breath. I checked. No halos on the cloud spire. Rafine didn't see the vision. You checked? Question and verify. You were right. She stepped toward the shops, where they would find the entrance to the vent shaft underground. Come on, kid. Time to report to our boss. Keza tilted her head. You fired me, because I wasn't listening. She met Keza's eyes. You were looking at facts. I should have trusted your analysis. You were right, and if someone in New Capenna is making their own halo and angels are returning, Rafine will need you to talk her through it. She pulled Keza's talisman and sigils from her pockets. Keza took them reverently. This is also yours. Camise lifted the angel talisman. It twisted in the dusk, halo twirling within. Keza quirked a smile. Does this mean you believe the angels will return? Camise laughed. Ridiculous, but maybe I don't know everything. Keza grinned. I'll take it. A pair of blue feathered birds chased each other in a spiral around steel columns. Their birdsong echoed of the stained glass, piercing even the shadows of New Capenna. Camise, just appreciating the beauty, she said. Let's go, and let go, and have a nice day. Bye.